don't lose your life all at once. You lose it thought by thought. And the most dangerous prison is the one built inside your own mind. Right now, thousands of thoughts are passing through your mind. Most of them were not chosen by you. They were planted, inherited, triggered, or repeated so often that they feel like truth. Every advertisement whispers what you should desire. Every social platform nudges what you should believe. Every cultural expectation subtly scripts how you should behave. And slowly, almost invisibly, your mind becomes crowded with borrowed voices. You think you're making decisions. But what if most of your decisions are simply reactions? What if freedom is not about controlling your environment, but about controlling the doorway through which thoughts enter your consciousness? This is cognitive sovereignty, the art of owning one thought at a time. The greatest illusion people live under is believing they are the author of their own mind. From the moment you were born, your brain became a sponge. Parents, teachers, friends, media, society, every interaction left fingerprints on your thinking patterns. You were taught what success looks like before you could even spell the word success. You were taught what beauty means before you understood your own reflection. You were taught what happiness should feel like before you ever defined joy for yourself. And none of this felt like control. It felt like normal life. Your brain developed shortcuts to survive complexity. Instead of questioning every thought, your mind automatically accepts familiar ones. These shortcuts are efficient, but they are also dangerous, because familiarity is not truth. Repetition is not wisdom. When a thought repeats long enough, your brain stops questioning it. It becomes identity. You don't just think, "I'm not good enough." You become someone who believes inadequacy is a fact. You don't just think, "I need approval." You become someone who cannot breathe without validation. And here's the trap most people never escape. They fight their circumstances without ever questioning the thoughts interpreting those circumstances. They try to change their job without changing their mindset. They try to change relationships without changing their emotional programming. They try to change their lifestyle without changing their internal dialogue. It's like trying to repaint a house while the foundation is collapsing. The tragedy is that most people live their entire lives believing they are thinking freely, when in reality they are simply echoing mental scripts they never consciously accepted. There is a silent force shaping your entire life. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It operates quietly beneath awareness. It is the automatic thought loop. Your brain generates thousands of thoughts daily, and most of them are recycled patterns. Old fears replay themselves like background music. Old doubts whisper like ghosts from your past. Old narratives continue running long after their creators have disappeared. The mind is designed to conserve energy. It prefers predictable thinking because unpredictability requires effort. That means your brain would rather replay yesterday's fears than create tomorrow's clarity. And the modern world amplifies this. Algorithms feed you content designed to provoke emotional reactions. News cycles thrive on anxiety because fear keeps attention locked. Social comparison multiplies insecurity because comparison keeps engagement high. Your attention becomes a marketplace. Your thoughts become products traded by forces that benefit from your distraction. And here's what makes this dangerous. When you don't consciously choose your thoughts, someone else profits from choosing them for you. You begin to crave things you never wanted. You begin to fear things that never threatened you. You begin to doubt yourself using standards you never agreed to. Without cognitive sovereignty, your mind becomes rented space, occupied by opinions that don't serve you, haunted by narratives that limit you, directed by emotional triggers engineered to keep you reactive. The worst part is, this doesn't feel like control, it feels like reality. At some point in life, something cracks the illusion. Maybe you notice how quickly your mood changes after scrolling through certain content. Maybe you notice how your confidence collapses around certain people. Maybe you notice how one small failure can spiral into days of self-doubt. You begin to realize something unsettling. You are not reacting to reality. You are reacting to the interpretation of reality. And interpretations are built from thoughts. You start observing patterns. The same arguments replay in your mind long after conversations end. The same worries repeat despite never coming true. The same insecurities surface regardless of external success. That is when a powerful realization emerges. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This recognition feels subtle at first, almost fragile, but it is revolutionary. Because if you can observe a thought, it means the thought is separate from you. And if a thought is separate from you, it means you can choose whether to keep it. This is the moment where mental captivity begins to loosen. You realize that your mind is not a courtroom delivering final verdicts. It is a stage where ideas perform, and not every performer deserves applause. Cognitive sovereignty begins with a simple but radical shift. You stop asking, "Is this thought true?" and start asking, "Does this thought deserve to stay?" Truth alone is not enough. Some thoughts may feel accurate but still destroy your growth. The shift is from passive thinking to conscious authorship. Instead of letting thoughts pass through your mind unfiltered, you begin evaluating them like a gatekeeper. Every thought must answer 3 questions. Is this thought useful? Is this thought constructive? Is this thought aligned with the person I want to become? If the answer is no, the thought loses authority. You stop arguing with negative thoughts. You stop trying to suppress them. You simply refuse to grant them ownership of your mental space. This practice changes everything. You begin noticing how many thoughts are outdated survival mechanisms. You realize some fears were designed to protect a younger version of you, not the person you are today. You see how some beliefs were installed by people who were projecting their own limitations. You begin replacing unconscious repetition with intentional selection. And slowly something extraordinary happens. Silence starts appearing between thoughts. That silence is not emptiness, it is power. Because within that silence, you choose the next thought deliberately. Instead of being dragged by mental momentum, you create mental direction. You are no longer thinking randomly. You are thinking strategically. Cognitive sovereignty is not achieved through inspiration. It is built through disciplined mental practice. Here's the practical framework. First, slow down your thinking. Speed is the ally of unconsciousness. When thoughts move rapidly, they bypass awareness. By slowing down, you create space to observe. Second, label your thoughts. When a thought appears, identify it. Is it fear? Is it comparison? Is it memory? Is it imagination? Labeling thoughts weakens their emotional grip. It transforms overwhelming feelings into observable patterns. Third, interrupt destructive loops. When you notice a recurring negative thought, don't fight it emotionally. Redirect your attention physically. Move your body. Change environments. Engage in focused action. Thoughts lose power when they lose attention. Fourth, install intentional thoughts. Cognitive sovereignty is not just removing bad thoughts. It is consciously planting empowering ones. Choose beliefs that strengthen resilience. Choose narratives that expand possibility. Choose internal language that respects your potential. And most importantly, practice thinking one thought at a time. Multitasking fractures awareness. Fragmented awareness creates fragmented identity. When you focus on a single thought fully, you reclaim authority over your mind. It feels small, but it is revolutionary, because every empire of change begins with one controlled decision. Your life is not built by time, it is built by attention. Every moment you live is filtered through thought. Thought determines perception, perception determines emotion. Emotion determines action. Action determines destiny. Most people spend their lives negotiating with the external world while ignoring the internal author writing their story. They try to control outcomes without controlling interpretation. But cognitive sovereignty changes the game entirely. You stop chasing control over life. You gain control over how life is experienced. You become less reactive to chaos, less vulnerable to manipulation, less dependent on external validation. You realize freedom was never about escaping responsibility. Freedom is the responsibility of choosing your internal reality consciously. Owning one thought at a time may seem insignificant, but thought is the seed of identity. Identity is the seed of behavior. Behavior is the seed of destiny. If you control the seed, you control the harvest. Right now, pause. Observe the next thought that appears in your mind. Ask yourself honestly, did you choose that thought or did it choose you? And more importantly, who is in charge of what happens next? I'll see you in the next video.